Oslong brand sandpaper. This is 150 grit, hook and loop backing. This is 150 grit, PSA backing, sticky backing. We're going to compare that to these other brands. We have a generic Chinese brand, this as well. We have Indasa brand, and we also have Klingspor brand. And here's the Klingspor brand. General impressions. This Chinese brand, you can tell right off the bat that it's just standard backing. Feels kind of flimsy. You can hear it crunching when you bend it. And there, the coating comes right off. You're to tear it, push it. Obviously not very good quality. After being used, this stuff just disintegrates. And you can see already, just rubbing it, the edges start to come off. So, this is basically crap. Next, we have a finer grit Chinese brand, generic. First impression, it seems better, but fold it in half, immediately cracks all over. Same thing. It's just crap. Cheap paper backing. Next, we have the Indasa brand. Indasa brand, premium brand, made in Portugal. It does have good adhesion on the back, which is nice. Let's try this. If we fold this, you do get a little bit of cracking, but not nearly as much as you would from the cheap generic stuff. You can force it off the paper if you try, but it's a lot harder. And the quality of the grit does seem to be a bit better. But we still have that problem where any sort of fold or indentation stays. This is an example of a used piece of Indasa, and it's basically just down to the paper. This is a used Chinese piece, which surprisingly held up in the middle. This is 80 grit, so it's a little bit stronger. But the edges are so obviously frayed, and they take the brunt of the damage here. Let's move on to the Klingspor, because this has been hailed as one of the better brands out there. It's German. It does, at first appearance, seem better. Seems slightly thicker. Let's go ahead and put it to the test here. I'm going to fold it. Ah, yes. You get a little bit of creasing, but it is not coming off the paper, which shows that it is a better quality. If I try to force it, you can force it off the paper, but it is still clinging, so it would hold up longer, and it does not seem to be very easy to get it to wear down on the sides. So it's a good quality paper. But moving on, let's look at Oslong brand. This is our brand. We love this stuff because it is so durable. You can feel, in comparison, it's about the same weight as the cling spore paper. It's about the same thickness as the cling spore paper. And let's give it to the test. Put it to the test here. Fold it. Look at that. Absolutely, no matter how hard I push it, there's no cracking. Cling spore, crack. Oslong, no crack. Obvious. Now, I try to force it. Let's try that. Fold, push. Nothing. Nothing. It's like rubber. Grit looks perfect. Fold it back the other way. Turns a little white, but there's no way this grit is coming off the paper. It's amazing. Cling spore again. Cracks. And this is hailed as being the best out there. It's not. This is the best out there. And our experience has shown it. We're going to do separate testing where we actually sand and show you the result. Just take a look at this. After being used, this is what the Chinese paper looked like, the generic stuff. This is a used piece of Oslong. Got a little bit of dust in there, comes right out. Rubbing it with my finger. We use this to do an entire desktop. There's no fraying on the edges. You can tell it's used. This was a 150. The grit is now more like a 220 because it's been worn down, but it wore down evenly. If I fold it, I can use it again and again. And sand with it. In fact, that's what we do. We use these in our machines, and then once we're done using it in the machines, we take it off, replace it with a new one, and we use this for our hand sanding towards the end. This truly is the better brand. And that's why, after 30 years of experience, that's why we have chosen to become distributors for this brand and sell it here in the US. And that's all for now.